What's going on, guys? Zuko back with another Dragonflight video. It's actually a War Within video, of course. And we're going to talk about Oracle Priest and kind of the debacle that's going on right now, the controversy that's been going on with Oracle Priest. So this is, of course, part of the hero talents that were released the other day. There was 4 of them. I've already covered Hunter. I just covered Frostfire Mage. It's on the YouTube right now. And then we're going to talk about Oracle Priest. This essentially has been unanimously condemned by the community as being a really, really bad tree. And I'll talk about why really quickly. The primary problem with this tree is that it gives you this new button called Premonition, which replaces Power Infusion. And I don't know what Blizzard's problem is with PI. I don't know why they're constantly trying to change it or modify it or nerf it. Like, I don't know why they hate it so much. It's just a button that gives a little bit of haste for a small amount of time. It's a good button. I'm not lying about it. It's obviously a fantastic buff to give people, but over the course of like an entire Mythic Plus key, or over the course of a raid, you can go without PI and still time the dungeon. Lots of people do it. Lots of people run dungeons without priests, and they time it just fine. They run the raid. Like, you see what I'm saying? I don't know. Lots of classes don't get PI in raid, and they do lots of damage. So why Blizzard's obsessed with this so much, I don't know. But unanimously, the community has kind of looked at this tree and said, this is really bad design. And I agree with them. And I think that I genuinely believe that Blizzard released this tree this early with the rest of them in order to get community feedback and to help them improve this tree. Genuinely. Because I feel like there's one priest developer, one dev's sitting there working away on this tree, and he came up with this, and it's really bad. And he went to the 15 devs that are working on Mage, because we always know there's more power getting pumped into Mage. Look at this friggin' Frostfire tree. It's so good. And he went to the 15 devs who are working on Mage, and he was like, please help me. And they're like, you know what? Just put it online. You're going to get absolutely slam dunked by Reddit and Twitter and the forums. You're going to get absolutely destroyed. Take all that feedback and make it better. And I'm really hoping that Blizzard listens to the community, because everybody says that this thing is really bad and needs to be changed, needs to be reworked. And I'm going to show you another part of the community, my brother Hero, who actually came up with a totally different idea for Oracle Priest that I think is better. Why is this thing so bad? First of all, replacing PI is a nerf, because what they're replacing it with, Premonition, is actually worse. The Soulless buff, giving your target 25% more healing, is just not good really at all. If you have to give a tank 25% more healing received in order for them to survive, then you and the tank are doing something wrong as the healer. You just are. If the tank can't essentially survive on their own with a little bit of help from the healer, you're doing something wrong. That's just the way it goes. In Mythic Plus, I'm telling you, every tank can survive on their own. If they can't survive on their own, they're just failing. So Soulless is kind of useless in my opinion. Sure, you could give it to a Hunter, and then you could Giga Heal the Hunter, but they're probably just going to die anyway. Insight, increase your target's magic damage dealt by 10%, or increase your target's physical damage dealt by 10% for glory. Those are fine, I guess, but this is a rotating buff that you get. You press Premonition, and it just gives you one of these spells, I think. We don't really know how this works. It looks like it's random. It looks like a Twisted Fate pick a card ability from League of Legends, if you guys have ever played that, where you're flipping through gold card, blue card, red card, and you're just hoping to get lucky, right? You're hoping to pull gold card every single time. That's just not going to happen. There's a couple of other interesting buffs in here that are sort of cool, increase the duration of Atonement by 1 second. That's okay. Atonement's a 15-second buff, I think, and now you're making it a 16-second buff. It's okay, I guess. That's not really amazing. It's whatever. Duration of Renew is kind of hilarious. Power Word Salvation can send out a bunch of renews. Those are going to last longer. Okay, great. This node is actually kind of cool, could be cool, isn't cool enough. Reducing the cooldown of Purify by 2 seconds makes Oracle Priest the best Dispeller in the game in terms of the speed with which they can dispel. So think of Throne of Tides, the totem boss that casts Flame Shock. The Flame Shock comes up faster than the Dispel comes up for every healer. So you have to start blowing a cooldown on this person and then dispelling the next person, and then blowing a cooldown on the next person, then dispelling the next person, every other Flame Shock. So this would alleviate that problem, which is very cool. That's a cool idea, actually. Genuinely, you could now say that Oracle Priest is the de facto like best dispeller in the game, because you also have Mass Dispel on top of that. That's kind of cool. Divine Feathers, when an ally walks through a feather, you're granted 100% of its effect. I was memeing on my stream that this is the best talent in the whole tree. Getting 2 feathers? Are you kidding me? We're going to be zooming around, baby. Feathers all over the place. But clearly this is troll. This is ridiculous. It's not that good. Perfect Vision reduces the cooldown of Premonition by 10 seconds. Now Premonition can trigger Brilliance, which gives somebody mana or gives them haste. Like, what if you... Does it... Like, who are you giving this to? And also, what buff are you getting? Like, you press Premonition and you get the... Let's say you press Premonition and you get the Glory buff. 10% more physical damage dealt. You're now going to give that person mana back as well? They don't have mana. It's like a Fury Warrior. Okay, you're going to give the Fury Warrior haste. Good job. But you're also giving them mana. Like, half this buff is useless, depending on what you're doing. So I don't know why it's set up that way. That just seems really bad. Premonition now has a low chance. Low chance is very bad. That means like once every 1 to 2 minutes. To grant you Clairvoyance. Clairvoyance grants your target and 2 nearby allies all the effects of Premonition. So now you get all 3 of these effects, I think, on 2 random allies. Random. Like, what are we talking about? What does it matter if you give a Arcane Mage healing received and physical damage dealt? Sure, the magic damage dealt is going to help them, but the other ones are, like, basically useless. Let's be real, right? And then it's random. It goes out to random people. Who cares? Like, you want to be able to target your buffs. This is why, like, Ogvoker has Prescience. He gets to target who he wants with Prescience to make sure that the crit is going to the right person. It's just, like, really weird. Randomness for healers is, generally speaking, very weird, unless it's something like Ascendance procs for Shaman. The DRE procs for Shaman are quite good, but, like, generally speaking, randomness is not what you want. Especially with buffs. Increases the damage absorbed by Power Word Shield and the Hero of Prayer of Mending. Okay, generic buffs. Power Word Shield applies a stack of Prayer of Mending to your target. So, like, just a little bit more healing for Disc Priest and nothing for Holy Priest. You're not going to press Power Word Shield, generally speaking. You're going to Power Word Shield yourself to speed yourself up, let's say. Prayer of Mending also casts Power Word Shield. Okay, cool, but, like, that doesn't really have any interaction for Holy Priest, because Holy Priest doesn't get, like, a mastery bonus affecting their shields or anything like that. So you're just getting an extra little shield. It's just, like, very weak. It's very weak is what it is. When you Power Word Shield is fully absorbed or Prayer of Mending heals, gain a stack of Reveal. Reveal. Add 150 stacks, gain an additional charge of Premonition. So, like, bad for Disc Priest, because, like, your shield has to get fully absorbed. What if it doesn't get fully absorbed? What if you do a full Rapture window and, like, 3 out of your 10 shields don't get fully absorbed? Then you're not getting the maximum benefit of this. It doesn't really make any sense. It's such a, like, strange interaction. Sure, Prayer of Mending healing is great for this, because you get 5 stacks of Prayer of Mending. Salve puts Prayer of Mending on everybody. You press Salve, you're going to get Grand Reveal, like, guaranteed. So it's very good for Holy Priest, very bad for Disc Priest, which is just strange, once again. Waste no time Premonition, cause your next Power Word Radiance, Heal, or Prayer of Mending to be instant cast and cost less mana. Okay. Once per minute, you get an instant cast spell. Okay. Reduce the cooldown of Power Word Life by 3 seconds. Allows it to be usable. This is, like, maybe the only other good talent here besides the Purify one. The Purify idea is kind of cool. This one's also kind of cool. Power Word Life has a 15-second cooldown. You're reducing that to 12 seconds, so that's actually a lot. You're carving like 15% of the cooldown off of that ability, which is very good. And allowing it to be usable, right now it can only be used on targets below 35% health. That's going to buff it to 50% health. That's going to get you a lot more uptime on Power Word Life. I actually like this. This is the only other good talent in here, in my opinion, besides the Purify one. And the Purify one is actually, like, very bad, but it's, like, carving out a niche for Oracle Priest. Pain Suppression reduces damage taken by an additional 10%. This is the only other one that's actually good. Sorry, this is the third one. Pain Suppression giving you more damage reduction? So now Holy Priest is even worse to take in, like, super high keys because you don't have any damage reduction abilities to give anybody. But now Disc Priest has even better damage reduction abilities. Pain Suppression is a 40% DR. It's now a 50% DR. That's, like, kind of insane for them, but very bad for Holy. Increase the duration of premonition effects by 2 seconds. So now instead of lasting 10 seconds, it lasts for 12. Okay. Premonition effect is increased by 30% if the divine spell is different than the previous premonition. What? Like, why? So now you roll the dice, you pull the Twisted Fate card, and you get blue card twice in a row. Yay, I'm lucky. Now it's 30% better, but I just happen to get super lucky. If you don't get lucky, you get screwed by Fatebinder. It's just really bad. This whole tree is like full of randomness. It's full of random buffs that don't matter. It's replacing Power Infusion, a buff that does actually matter. And it has really no interesting talents except for maybe Purify, making Oracle an interesting like little niche there. And then the extra Miraculous Recovery talent I think is really good. Now, this is quite bad, primarily because the design is bad. So I want to flip over to, this is my brother Hero. He did a video on his idea for what Oracle Priest should be, right? So you see in the top right-hand corner there, he's got Oracle theme is to plan ahead. It's going to be shield plus mending, and it's going to be magic dispel. So it's going to be, he's doubling down on that Purify node that we talked about a second ago. Here's his idea for what should happen. And I think the design of this for Oracle Priest is way better than what Blizzard has come up with. So his main idea here is this thing called Prayer of Divination. It essentially combines Powered Shield and Prayer of Mending. That's essentially what it does. So you put a shield on somebody and you put 5 stacks of Prayer of Divination on them, and then those stacks can jump around. The Prayer of Divination stacks that jump around, like Palm, they put shields on people instead of healing them, okay? So you start with a shield, and then you have a bouncing shield as well. And Prayer of Divination can trigger Echo of Light, and it also behaves as if the target was affected by Atonement. Here's what's really cool about this. As I talked about in the Frostfire build for the Mage talent tree that's coming, which is really good, the Frostfire Mage combines Frostbolt and Fireball, and it puts them together, and it creates a whole tree around that. And then all the talents that you can invest in, Frostbolt talents and Fireball talents for those 2 different trees, they all interact with Frostfire Bolt. That's exactly what Hero is doing here. With Disc Priest and Holy Priest, you take Palm, you take Powered Shield, you combine them together, and you have a whole tree dedicated to that. And it also has an Oracle theme of trying to plan ahead, and then also makes Oracle the de facto best Dispeller in the game by giving you a really, really cool magic dispel. I forget where he talks about that. That's row 2, row 3, Time of Need. We go, here it is. Time of Relief. Mass Dispel is instant cast, and its cooldown is reduced by 15 seconds. Whenever you cast Mass Dispel, reset the cooldown on Prayer of Divination. So that's pretty cool. So it gives you this extra little incentive to use your Dispel, because it's going to give you an extra heal as well, which is very, very cool. Can't remember. No, that's Time of Life. I think, let me look at this one over here. Here it is. This is the other big Dispel one. Awareness and Purity of Soul. Whenever you dispel a harmful magic effect from a friendly character, reset the cooldown on Dispel Magic. This can only occur once every minute. That is a really cool idea. So now you have the Flame Shock boss from Throne of Tides that I was just talking about. You dispel somebody, okay? That's going to reset the cooldown on Purify. The next Flame Shock comes out, you dispel them again. Every other healer is going to have to change the way that they organize their cooldowns because they don't have a good dispel like the awareness from an Oracle Priest. You see where that could become like a really cool niche? That's what we're talking about. The other side of this could be Purity of Soul. Whenever you dispel a harmful magic effect from a friendly character, you also cast Prayer of Divination. So if you're in a Mythic Plus dungeon that does not require a lot of dispelling, you can instead get Purity of Soul, and you get an extra cast of this really powerful cooldown Prayer of Divination. So there's just so much going on with Hero's Tree. I'm going to link Hero's video down below if you want to watch it. He does a really great job talking about this. This is the direction that Blizzard needs to go with something like an Oracle. They need to get rid of this insane idea of replacing PI with a worse buff, having random procs go off on random allies, giving them random buffs. Like, this is just so ridiculously stupid and random, and it's not good for a healer. Something more like what Hero is proposing is exactly what they should be doing. It focuses on a core part of Disc Priest, which is Power Word Shield, and a core part of Holy Priest, which is Prayer of Mending, and it combos them together in a tree that is perfectly fleshed out to, like, to buff those abilities, and then you can build your talent tree around those spells. It actually works so much better, and it's exactly like the Frostfire tree and how it combos fire and frost together in a really, really good way. So this is what I think needs to happen for Oracle Priest. It's a bit of a disaster right now. I'm really hoping that Blizzard takes the feedback that they're getting from the community and makes a better tree. Please, Blizzard, for the love of God, just listen to the community on this one. We will love you so much more if you just listen to what we're asking for and make this tree something that is much more inclusive of Holy and Disc instead of replacing PI. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I'm going to keep covering all the hero talent trees when they come out. Thank you so much again for watching. I love you all. I'll see you in the next one.